Good morning, guys. So in order to understand this worksheet, we're going to need to understand something called equivalent fractions. I'm going to put equivalent fractions.
Hi there, Jenna, write something beautiful.
Okay, thank you. And you can't see that, can't you? This is not working right now. Why? Why are you not working? Nope. Equivalent fractions. Okay, so I want you to understand that if I have 2/4, and so this is 2/4, 1, 2, that is equal to 1/2, right? They're equal. Just that in this one, it was broken into 4, and this one is only broken into 2. The same thing can be said by if I have 1/3, could be said by 2/6, right? It's the same exact thing, just that this one was broken into 6. And so a good way to think about it is that I noticed from the 1 to the 2, I multiplied by 2. And what I do to the top, I must do to the bottom. 3 times 2 also gave me 6. Okay, so if I am to reduce, in this case, I divided by 2. And in this case, I also divided by 2. So what I do to the top, I must do to the bottom. So let's look at the actual worksheet. Why is Tuesday the favorite day of math teachers? And so in this case, we have a bottom number, a denominator, and then we have another denominator. So to the 3, they multiplied by 5. So I must multiply 2 times 5, and I would get 10. And then the same thing, 30. So I have to figure out 2 times 15 gives me 30. 1 times 15 gives me 15. Okay. Now I have to do this one. 5 times what gives me 20? Okay. 5, 10, 15, 20. So that's 4. So 2 times 4 gives me 8. And so what's good about this worksheet is that they've already giving you another number to simplify or to find an equivalent fraction to. So 6 times what gives me 36? 6 times 6. 7 times 6 gives me 42. And then look at this one. So they already found a fraction 3 with the numerator 3. So 1 times 3 gives me 3. 4 times 3 gives me 12. 3 times 6 gives me 18. 5 times 6 gives me 30. Okay, let's look at this one. 4 times what gives me 36? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36. You can't see my fingers, but I have 9 fingers up. So I'm multiplying by 9. So then I need to multiply my numerator by 9 as well, and that gives me 27. Okay, 4 times what gives me 12? Oh, I know that. It's 4, 8, 12. So multiply by 3. So then I have to multiply my bottom by 3. So this would be 15. Oh, sorry, 45. Okay, 7 times 8 gives me 56. 3 times 8 gives me 24. So 8 times 4 gives me 32. 12 times 2 gives me 24. 7 times 2 gives me 14. 9 times 9 gives me 81. 4 times 9 gives me 36. 6 times 3 gives me 18. 1 times 3 gives me 3. 10 times 8 gives me 80. 7 times 8 gives me 56. Okay, I want you to pause. If you have not completed this assignment, pause at this point while I go through the whole thing. I'm going to give you a couple seconds, and then please pause it, and then you're completing the rest of the assignment by yourself, and then you're only coming back to check your work. Okay, so 12 times 5 gives me 16. 5 times 5 gives me 25. 3 times 10 gives me 30. 8 times 10 gives me 80. 3 times 9 gives me 27. 1 times 9 gives me 9. 20 times 2 gives me 40. 3 times 2 gives me 6. 7 times 3 gives me 21. 3 times 15. 5 times 3 gives me 15. 9 times 7 gives me 63. 1 times 7 gives me 7. 6 times 5 gives me 30. 5 times 5 gives me 25. 2 times 9 gives me 18. 11 times 9 gives me 99. 9 times 4 gives me 36. 25 times 4 gives me 100. 3 times 6 gives me 18. 10 times 6 gives me 60. 7 times 3 gives me 21. 16 times 3 gives me 48. 5 times 2 gives me 10. 4 times 2 gives me 8. And I don't know why this one's blocked out. 20 times 5 gives me 100. 7 times 5 gives me 30. 8 times 4 gives me 32. 7 times 4 gives me 28. 5 times 11 gives me 55. 1 times 11 gives me 11. 8 times 3 gives me 24. 9 times 3 gives me 27. 2 times 2 gives me 4. 15 times 2 gives me 30. 9 times 4 gives me 36. 10 times 4 gives me 40. 4 times 10 gives me 40. 7 times 10 gives me 70. 4 times 25 gives me 100. 3 times 25 gives me 75. 16 times 3 gives me 48. 3 times 3 gives me 9. 12 times 12 gives me 144. 7 times 12 gives me 84. And last but not least, 20 times 5 gives me 100. 19 times 5 gives me 95. Okay. And then if you want to fill out the puzzle, you can. This is just finding equivalent fractions and multiplying their numerator and denominator by the same number. Okay, if you guys have any more questions, let me know.